Chef Jeff here at White Apron Catering in Lake Worth. Today we're going to do something for you. We're going to do a quinoa and kale salad. I've also got a little feta cheese and some sun-dried tomatoes and Kalamata olives, little red onions. And let's just get started. First thing you're going to want to do is cook off your quinoa. We'll cook that off and then let it cool down a little bit before we mix into the salad. So I've got some quinoa here. Typically, you're going to want to rinse that off. Sometimes they come pre-rinsed and whatnot, but you're going to want to rinse it off. Just rinse it off under a little running water. Give it at least 30 seconds, in a bowl and drain it out like you do rice. Or I like to use just a little strainer. But they got the saponins on there, and it's a natural thing that's on all the quinoa, but makes it taste a little soapy, a little bitter. But a little rinse does the trick. So I'm going to go ahead and get that rinsed off, and then we'll get going. All right, now that we've got that rinsed off, we're going to get that into the pot. And what I like to do is just, like I said, just get that right in there. And what I find works good is about a 2-to-1 ratio. And I go just a tad under, but give it a 2-to-1 ratio. Let it come up to a boil and simmer it for a few minutes and then cover it up. Sometimes I think if you cover it up too soon, it tends to make it a little bit mushy sometimes. But let that do that. Let it sit for 5 minutes after it's done, and then we'll fluff it up. And that gives you those nice little puffed up things. I'm using a little veg stock here just because that's what I like. You can certainly use water or chicken stock or anything else. And like I said, do about a 2-to-1 ratio on that. So I did a pint of the quinoa. We'll do about a quart of that, just a little shy. And we're just going to get that going. All right. I think we've got this done. It's all the water is absorbed. We let that fluff up for about 5 minutes. And then you see how you got that beautiful, see how they're starting to open up in there? That's beautiful. Now we're going to take this and we're just going to let that chill for a little bit. And that way it's not going to wilt anything down. So I just spread it out on a little tray just because it cools a little faster. So it's done cooking. We're going to let that go. And we're going to let that chill. While that's chilling, let's get all our ingredients ready. All right. So we've got, what do we need? We need our kale. So the kale, you can use the baby kale if you like. I often just use the nice curly kale for this. Went ahead and just rinsed that off, gave it a nice wash. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to pull it right off the stems. And you pull that off, and then that's the part you don't need. And do the same thing here. And like I said, and get a little piece on there. You can always cut it off, but I find that what pulls off is the part that you don't really want to eat anyway. Now, we're going to take that, and we're going to do sort of a chiffonade with that. And if you remember from that, we're going to take and just kind of pile it up together, and then we sort of roll it, and it makes it easy to cut. So you take, and once it's piled up, you just kind of roll it up together. And then you can slice it and you get these beautiful little pieces, nice little chiffonade out of that. But then you're just pulling it back. And remember, keep your fingers back behind there and you're going to be fine. But see, by rolling that kale in for the chiffonade, you get a beautiful, nice, even cut. And we're going to add that into all the rest of it. And so we've got a nice little amount of that. Ratio on this, whatever you like. Some people like more quinoa. Some people like more kale. I like a nice, even mix, so I do that. The red onion, I'm just going to do a thin little julienne on that. And again, we're just going to take the nice little radial cut on it and sort of work your way around. So we've got that. Sun-dried tomatoes, and I'm just doing a little julienne on those as well. And again, you can stack those up, do them all at once. And I like nice little thin pieces of the sun-dried tomato. I find them to be a little too chewy otherwise. You get the fat pieces. Again, we're just going to put in a little bit more, you know, however much you like. And then the Kalamata olives, I've just cut these in half. And I'm going to show you a little something here. So you take your Kalamata olives, put them out there flat. You put your hand on there, keep it flat, and you can just cut them all right at once. There you go. I think I ran into a little seed. You got to be careful. So you got those. And then get rid of anything we don't need right now. And then the last thing we're going to put in there is some of our feta cheese. And I'm doing for this, I'm just crumbling it up. I've got some little pieces. And again, to crumble it up, you're literally just going to crumble it. And as you mix it, it's also going to get more crumbly. All right. Let's see how our quinoa is doing. Oh, it's nice and cool, so we can add that in. And on that, like I said, when I laid it on that tray to chill, I used a little piece of parchment, and that's just going to make it easy to pick up. Look at that. So you can pick the whole thing up at once and add in however much you want. And then we'll just give that a nice mix. And see how that's looking. All right. Now, we've got our salad pretty well set. For the seasonings on that, we're going to do a little bit of crushed red pepper. Give it a little bit of a bite. And then I've got some parsley and some oregano here, some fresh parsley and oregano. And I'm going to do the same thing. Already rinsed off, and I'm just going to give it a little chiffonade and probably just give it a rough chop after that. So we'll do that. And then in that goes. The dressing for this is a nice simple one. And we're just going to use a little apple cider vinegar, a little blended olive oil, and some honey, a little Dijon mustard. So we'll start with that. And again, keep your ratio about the same. We're going to do like 1 to 3 on the vinegar. And we can just add all this right in together. We're not making an emulsion, so we just add all this right in together. Give it a little mix, a little spoon of that. And now for the honey, I have here, and yeah, I'm bragging a little bit. This is the Lake Talquin honey. I get that every year. I go up and help my brother harvest the honey off of his hives. So we're going to add a little bit of that. Thanks, Paul. That's kind of fun. If you ever get a chance to do that, I highly recommend it. And we're going to do a little salt and pepper in there, and then that'll season all this up. And then we'll just dress our salad. Like I said, this salad, you go ahead and dress this. Be ready to serve right away. If you let it sit for about 15 minutes, it's going to be even better. It'll have a chance to get into that kale and the quinoa. But you see as that's mixing up, got enough dressing on there to give everything a nice coat. But not so much that it's swimming. Oh, there we go. Look at that. It's coming together beautiful. And like I said, Your ratios on that, however you like. I like to do a lot of the greens with the quinoa, but you want enough of that quinoa to have it as a quinoa salad. So we're going to go ahead and just get that right into the bowl here. And you see all those different colors, and it's beautiful. Looks like a little fiesta in a bowl. But beautiful summer salad, nice side dish. Healthy, fresh, clean, light, tasty. We've got our kale and quinoa salad with a little feta. Chef Jeff here at White Apron Catering. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think.